Picture Pictured today is brought to you by a guy named Professor DeBacco.
Come along. I have a film of it here.
All right. So this is from a series that this guy does on cannabis in general, right? And it's dry, but it's really, really good for the like science of it, right?
So like the really good meat of it.
Correct.
You know.
He sounds like the guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Okay.
Ben Stein.
Oh, okay.
But he really is interesting if you can get past the boring voice, I guess is that my point.
Okay.
Right?
Harry Potter style.
Harry Potter style.
Yeah, like the old professor, the ghost professor that does magic history. It's,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, not to totally bust on this poor guy, but I think he's really interesting. So here you go. This is in the drying room. Once the plants are harvested, this would be drying.
So I've talked about the importance of drying cannabis properly, so I figured I should take you inside the drying room. Now, while drying can occur outdoors, it is definitely not advised because of the variability that can occur, the rain, the humidity, the fog, not a great area to allow efficient drying. Typically it's done in a room with controlled conditions. I'm going to go over what those conditions are. So it's very important to have a clean room with excellent environmental control. Want to have tight regulations over the temperature, typically around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius, and humidity starting at about 45% and decreasing throughout the process. It's important also that this room has very little light, that's at least on, other than when someone's in there inspecting. It's also a good idea to have even air circulation, but do not have...
So really quickly, part of the reason I'm doing this is because we are entering the harvesting phase of our grow, and so we're going to be doing this. And as we're looking at drying room conditions, I'm thinking, pay attention to, we're trying to keep the temperature around 65, the humidity around 45,
Yep.
and decreasing through the process, which is interesting.
That would make sense.
It does make complete sense.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it. So
I think that
this
happens. I think it happens naturally, but
it's just something to keep memory of.
oh, no light too.
No light, which is perfect for ours.
the fan directly blowing on the drying buds. Kind of want to keep the air just moving in the room,
Right. So
but
there's
not
air
in any one
circulation.
hot
Yep.
spot there.
Which we've got an air purifier.
Monitoring the conditions is definitely advised because this will have a great impact on your final product. Integrating a monitoring system that can ensure consistent conditions will improve the dry room conditions
Right. Wow.
and help ensure a
This is-
consistent product.
Yeah, the monitoring room.
Well, we do though, because
We
we
do.
put
We-
we put the little meter thing.
Yeah, we do. We do.
You
yeah.
know, so I mean, we don't go out of control with like
right.
a
Well, what
control
what
panel
he's
or
kind of
something.
talking about is like, if you had all of like, just pulling a name out, Vivison, if you had all of their like probes and all of
Correct,
that
you could
stuff, you
do-
set all that stuff out, and then you bring all of like the cords and stuff outside the room, so you don't have to go in the room
right, and you just control the whole thing
from outside.
Right. In this case, we're just going to bring up a little monitor
Mm-hmm.
thing that we would use in the tent. Anyways, we're going to put that in the room. That's going to help us monitor
Yeah.
temperature and humidity. Also, the humidifier that we'll have in
The
have in the room.
dehumidifier.
Dehumidifier, correct. Thank you. Will have a humidity level
Yes.
on it too. So,
So having a way of monitoring and checking and tracking are all systems definitely well advised for the dry room here. Now the placement of those buds can be put on screens that are not surrounded by leaves to keep the drying process even and consistent. So that's kind of the name of the game here. You don't want to have everything all piled up in one area.
oh, I did not know this. Buds should be placed into screens that are not surrounded by leaves. So that means we have to dry trim all of the bud before we put it in that circular thing. Because otherwise we're going to have uneven drying because of the leaves. They're going to be...
Right. So you separate the trim from the buds, and then you put the trim in one thing, in one mesh thing, and then you put the buds in another mesh thing. I think is what we.
Well, let's see
or
what he
we-
says.
We should
Yeah.
do.
You can see all of these different rungs. It's all pretty much one bud thick. They're not really piled on top of one another very deep to allow that kind of even drying process. Typically, these screen structures are hung from the ceiling to allow good air circulation. We can see there's multiple in this room here. Some growers, this is not an example one, but some growers like invertible racks. They can help avoid flat spots and save labor while increasing the overall air circulation. What these invertible racks allow them growers to do is they're all sealed. They can literally, there's a hanger here and a hanger on top. They can take this whole rack, flip it upside down, and rehang it now from what was previously the bottom to help increase the tumbling of those buds at least once to allow for better air circulation.
Wicked. Can we
You want to
do
be sure
that?
to label each
Oh
harvest.
my God, I think we can do that. I think ours is totally self-contained. So once you do the zipper up, I think you can flip it upside down, and the buds will all stay right where they are.
Yeah, the flip.
We'll have to look at it.
I can tell you that they will because each it's not a zipper straight down. Each like thing, each level has its own zipper.
Oh,
So yes, you can.
that's very
invert
exciting.
it. I think there's
Wow.
something on the bottom to hang it from even.
And that came from our Mrs. Green Clouds contest that we won. Check out that shout out back in a couple
while ago.
episodes ago. I think I'm going to label the episode numbers so that
Yeah.
we can reference them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just a thought.
Something to think about.
A screen with a date, variety, and person doing the harvesting, as we see here. Inspect daily to ensure the room conditions and evidence for even drying. Again, that person of harvesting is also important so you can tell how the buds were trimmed potentially, or how they're drying, or how they were placed, and also knowing the cultivar and the variety and when it was harvested. A way to determine the degree of dryness or they're ready for the curing process is to do something called a stem test. If you take an area near the buds and you try to bend the stem area.
Oh, it's near the buds. Dude, when I've ever done the stem test, I've always done it in the middle of the stem because I thought that's where you did. I didn't realize you did it at the, well, whatever. All right, continuing.
Okay. If it bends, then there's still some dry time required, and if it snaps, you're ready for the curing process. Larger, denser buds may take a little longer to completely dry, so double check the moisture content on these even when the majority of the other buds may be dry. Those may have to just go a little bit longer. Now, dry time, freshly harvested products should be dried and ready for packaging process in about 7 to 10 days. Some can cut it as low as 5 to 7. Typically going over 10 is not advised. The goal is a final moisture content between 12 and 15%. So if you harvest here on Friday the 20th, you're looking at 7 to 10 days would be your ideal dry time window to get the maximum amount of time for profit and producing the highest quality buds. Now, in the dry room, we mentioned some conditions you want to have. You also want to avoid some conditions, particularly light, UV light in particular. Don't want to have a lot of that in the room. Heat above 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 26 degrees Celsius. And friction, which removes a lot of resins.
Okay.
Meaning you don't want to put the buds on this kind of screen and then shake it all around to get them to dry, because that could remove a lot of the resins and reduce the overall quality there. of
Oh,
the
yeah.
buds.
Yeah.
So this goes over
Did he
some
say
conditions
why
that you should have in the
UV
dry room,
light
what
is
you should
bad?
look for in.
He did not say why UV light is
I
bad.
wonder why it's specifically UV light.
Well, we know that UV light breaks down the cannabinoids. So,
Oh, it does.
yes.
Oh, okay. So a black light, right? Yeah, black light's ultraviolet. Yeah, black light would be
Right, well, ultraviolet, it's
UV, ultraviolet, black
sunlight,
light.
UV rays.
Well,
They're talking-
the
that's what
sun,
they're
the
talking
sun,
about.
the sun's all of it.
Right, but that's what they're talking about. They're talking
Right.
about
Oh, okay.
sunlight.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
dry your
Oh, don't-
cannabis in sunlight.
Don't dry it outside like you would dry meat or something like that.
Correct.
Some conditions you should be avoiding to allow high quality buds for your harvest.
And there you go.